take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
All right, y'all, we're here. We're live. You're watching Buster Unmasked, and I'm kind of like Slim Shady. It feels so good to be back. We're here. Today is the day. My guest today, man. Look, I'll tell you what. Before we even talk about this dude and I get him out here, I got a little video I made that I think kind of captures the essence of Johnny Dotson. Let's check this out, man, before we get this guy on.
I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
100%. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping. You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
I'm always flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me, but they hate from inside. You see, hate themselves in society, so I let them speak quietly while my actions speak wider. See, they be hiding in privacy with the screen. Oh, the irony to hate someone who's trying to be whatever they would like to be. We all feel the anxiety, we make our own rivalries. Yo, so where is all the positivity? I feel like we all just hate on everything, it's killing me. Thoughts build quick, causing different possibilities. Negative thoughts will cause different disabilities. So do better, work hard under pressure. If you got no time, work smarter than ever. Don't ever let them tell you that you can't never say never. And turn your mind into the truest of go-getters.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping.
quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
All right, guys, you seen it right there. Let me tell you something. This dude is the perennial underdog. Always fighting from the bottom, but he always seems to rise to the top. He's one of the most polarizing guys in the wrestling business, especially around our area. You either love him or you hate him, but no matter what you do, he keeps pushing forward. Without any further ado, I bring to you the Kang superstar, the one and only Johnny Dotson. Johnny.
What's up? What's up? What's up, man? What's going on?
Dude, I don't know it, man. We've been waiting on this one, man. We had to postpone it last week, but we're here today. I'm excited, man.
Man, I am excited. I'm happy to be here. It's a blessing to be here. I'm deeply humbled and honored to be here on tonight.
Well, look, man, we got a ton to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about, you've had some health issues recently. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Mid-South TV network for sure. We're going to talk all about that. And we're going to talk about the UWA, the United Wrestling Alliance, man. All these things you put on your back, man. You were the guy who decided, hey, it's time for a change, and I'm the guy to do it. So I tell you what, Johnny, before we get started, we got Eric Hayes with us. He says, good evening, fellas. Eric, good to see you, my brother. Thanks for watching. We got Mark McGee with us. He said, good evening, brothers. Good evening, Mark. I hope you're feeling better, man. Thanks for watching, Johnny. Let's get down to business, man. Like I said, since the last time you were here, there's been a lot of things going on. A lot of big things, man. First of all, like I said, you've had a couple of surgeries and stuff. So before we get into this wrestling thing, talk to me about what's been going on with you, how you're doing, and when it looks like you might get back in the ring, man.
Well, as we know, wrestling beat up your body, man. It's beat up. I've been doing this almost 30 years. So this would be like this was surgery number 17 for me. So that goes to show why a lot of people get offended when I say things, but I've actually put my life, limbs, body, family, everything on the line for this industry. So when guys come in and just playing or just doing it just to be doing it or not taking it serious, not being trained, it's offensive to me. You know what I mean? But overall, when it comes to my health, man, I'm back to normal. That was the last surgery I had to do. I'm in the gym every day. I'm dieting. I'm watching what I eat. You know, because sometimes you get lazy when you're not wrestling all the time. Right. I'm getting bookings already. So I'm excited about it, man. I'm well. I'm doing great. I'm back in it. I'm back in full effect. They ain't seen nothing yet. Buster, when I get done, you think they was talking about the Kang superstar? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Man, talk to me about that, man. No matter what you do, it does not matter whether you're on the Facebook being the Kang superstar, pissing people off left and right, or you're at the church helping the community, using the wrestling to try to help the community. What is the deal, man? Because like I said, no matter what you do, somebody's always got something negative to say about it. What do you attribute that to, man?
Them not knowing me and not knowing really the love that I have for the business. I respect the business and I love the business, but there are some people in the business that I don't respect. You know what I mean? The Bible tells us that we have to love everybody. Don't tell us that we got to like everybody. There are some people in the business I just don't like, not because of who they are, but their shady practices and things that they do. You know what I mean? So often in this industry, a professional wrestling, men are not men. You know what I mean? I'm from the old school. My dad whooped me. You know what I mean? I got whipped. You know, right. And he always instilled in me that a man has to be a man. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I'm one of the ones that if I say it out my mouth, you can count on it. Because I value myself. I value my character, my integrity, and being a man of my word, because I was taught that's all a man has is his word. I know credit and all this is good or whatever, but my dad always told me, if you look a man in his face and you shake his hand and say you're going to do something, you need to do it. And that's the difference between me and a lot of these other guys in the industries. They'll throw rocks and hide their hands. To where me, I'm gonna say what it is, and it is what it is. I can say it behind your back, and I can say it in your face. It makes me know, never mind. If I said it, I said it.
Right, right. And I'm the same way, dude. My daddy tore my tail up. He grabbed me by my wrist when I was little enough. He grabbed that belt. You be running around in a circle. He be tearing that butt up, man.
Absolutely.
Different time, different. The times are different, but man, the traditions and the things that are right never change. Right and wrong never changes. That's the thing. Everybody can have different opinions, but your opinion don't make you right. Your opinion don't make you wrong. Right or wrong is the facts that you can prove, man. It's as simple as that. And you know as well as I do, this business here is built on a lot of rumors and innuendo. You touched on these people just don't know you, and I can attest to that, Johnny, because here's the thing. Me and you, we've known each other for 30 years. But over the last probably 3 years, probably since you started Bluff City, and when we first started having interactions, they were rough. People don't know it, but me and you been on Messenger, private Messenger, threatening to kick each other's ass several times, man. I mean, it's just the way it is. But as men, we always, whether we disagreed or what, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I still respected you. You still respected me, no matter how many times we got on each other's nerves. But over the past year, probably, I can attest to this, man. I've got to know you on a little more personal level. We're not run around buddies. But we've had some conversations that not just involving wrestling, but life in general. Real men stuff. And I agree with 100%. I think a lot of these people tend to believe what they hear in the rumors instead of going to the man and finding out what the man's all about. And I'll tell you this. I thought of Johnny Dotson, the wrestler, one way. Now that I know the man a little more personal, my opinion of you as not just the man, but as the wrestler has grown tremendously, dude. That's just as real as I can say it. And I think that if people would quit listening to what they hear and start finding out for themselves, they would see Johnny Dotson really. Here's the deal. You got a bad rap, but at the end of the day, the one thing I know is you want the best for the wrestling business.
Absolutely.
You want the best for the people in the wrestling business. You want the talent to be better and do better. And that's not always the case in this business, man. Talk to me about your goals now in this wrestling business. You've had your surgeries. You're fixing to be 100% healthy again the first time in a long time. Like you said, you're starting to get bookings. You're going to be taking some shows and going out on the road some. But talk to me about your goal, man, with the wrestling, with the Mid-South Television Network, which we're going to dive into all of that in a little more detail, and the United Wrestling Alliance, man. What is the master plan that Johnny Dotson has, dude?
And I know people probably say, he always talk about God. Well, that's all I can do. So I don't know. God had put me in a position that most of us in the industry hasn't been in before, right? So what happened is a lot of people got together, collaboratory effort, spoke a vision. Everybody agreed with the vision. You know what I mean? There's no big I's and no little U's with the UWF. It's the Unified Wrestling Alliance. Right. So everybody come together to help everybody, because you only can get better. The wrestling industry around this area can only get better when you come together and help one another. You can't have a big I and a little U when there's a group effort. So if everybody come together and put their minds together, maybe things could change by cooperating and working together. Like with you, Buster, I don't mind telling anybody. There's a lot of things that happen sometimes at Bluff City Wrestling that I disagree or I don't like. And I'll call Buster and I'll be like, man, what you think about this? A lot of people may not know that, because the image that people have put out about me is that it's Johnny's way, Johnny's this, Johnny's that, and that's not the case. A lot of people don't know I don't really have as much say-so as they think in Bluff City Wrestling. I really don't. Like I said, it's a group of individuals that come together.
Let's touch on that for a minute, Johnny, because, you know, we've had this conversation. You founded Bluff City, but you're not the guy who You're not the only guy in there that has some input and stuff. A lot of things has changed in Bluff City since you founded it and it started. And there's still a lot of people out there who don't believe some of the things. They still think a lot of it's a work. Talk to us about Bluff City and the transition from you being the top dog, the guy who could make all the calls, to now, like you said, I don't know if they know it or not, but you can be, I mean, you go to a vote now. You could just as easily, just cause you say aye on something, don't mean everybody else says aye on something.
Right. So what ended up happening because of the Kang superstar, and I want to make sure I break this thing down completely. I try to do it on my live, but I think this is a better platform to do that. In order for a business to be successful, there's nothing wrong with what we call good, healthy competition. All right. If you would notice McDonald's, if you look at a McDonald's, right? A McDonald's, if you look down the street, there's a Wendy's nearby. There's a Crystal's nearby. There's a Sonic nearby. Right. You look at an Advanced Auto Part, there's an AutoZone not far down the street. You know what I mean? There's a Walgreens, there's a CVS. There's nothing wrong with healthy competition. Okay. So the thing was with the Kang Superstar deal was I end up getting with Bill, and I talked to Bill about it first. And I said, well, Bill, we really don't have any big baby face around Memphis. Yeah, let's be honest. Nobody want to tell the truth. There is no really big baby face in the Mid-South area that draws money.
I mean, since you said that, let's just be totally honest. We really don't have, there's not that guy around here that is the star. There's no Jerry Lawler around here. No. There's no superstar Bill Dundee. There's no Brian Christophers. That's one of our biggest problems around our area. We got to figure out how to elevate a few of these guys into real stars.
Absolutely. So when I went to talk to Bill, I said, well, Bill, I said, I think the only way that I can get eyes on Bluff City Wrestling, and Bill was laughing, I said, I need to become the Kang Superstar. I need to be your name, and I need to be Lawler's name. I seen King at a gas station right there on Summer Avenue in White Station. And he was like, John, I don't care, do it. He was like, I want you to learn this though. He said, this is what King told me, like straight up. He said, don't invest so much of your time and your money in the wrestling business. He said, because if there was any real money left in the wrestling business, don't you think I would have a company? That's what King said.
Right. I mean, that's true words right there.
Right. So I told him, I said, but if I can get a buzz, I said, you one of the love around here. Dundee's one of the loves around here. I said, if I really want to make people upset, all I got to do is use your name. And they're going to ask the question, who do Johnny Dotson think he is, right?
Right.
So when I told Bill that, Bill started laughing. And Bill said, if anybody got the balls to do it, you do. He said, have vetted, kid. He said, I will sponsor it. I will promote it as much as I can. And there it is. Before I knew it, I had more heat from the boys than I did the fans. So guess what happened? The first Bluff City Wrestling show, which aired on CW30, I had over 2,000 views automatically going to the station because they're trying to see what I'm going to do.
Right.
All right. So that's what people have to understand. If people are talking about you, whether it's good or bad, they're talking, which then will put eyes on the product. And that's all it was. But then people start taking it as if what they saw on television and what I do on Facebook as who I am as a person, which is so totally far from the truth.
Right.
It's all the work, kids.
It worked immediately, but here's the thing, like you said, I felt like once it started getting heat with the boys, that's kind of when it started going a little bit sour. You started getting so much pushback, so many people in the industry, not the fans, the people in the industry trying to block you from doing things, keep you from doing certain things, keep you from being certain places. So let me ask you this, Johnny, in hindsight, if you had to do it all over again, would you still go and start out like you did and be the Kang Superstar?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The only thing that I would have done different, I never would have told anybody I owned it.
I 100%
And I learned that because once I started to go back and look at all the videos, you never knew that Jerry Lawler owned wrestling here in Memphis, right?
Right.
And another thing that I noticed that Jerry Lawler never did. Jerry Lawler never did limit his views by saying it was Memphis wrestling. It was the CWA, it was championship wrestling. That's all they would say. Because they had to use the same deal over in Evansville and Louisville. You understand what I'm saying? So they was wise enough not to promote it as a Memphis wrestling show. You know, and Lawler never let everybody knew that he owned it. We thought that Eddie Marlin was the guy. The same way with Jack Tunney with WWE.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's one of the biggest mistakes I've made, because I've learned in life, people don't like you based off your success. If we were to look around and look at all of the wrestlers that's in the Mid-South area, not too many of them live the way I do.
And here's the thing about wrestling, Johnny. You know this as well as I do. Wrestling is a envy and jealousy filled community, man. It just is. Nobody, here's the thing, it's like crabs in a bucket. If one crab's at the top, there's a crab right below him trying to grab his leg and pull him down, instead of hopefully that crab maybe will pull that other one up. It's fueled on, I don't want this guy to be more successful than me, when in actuality, if we would get together and help each other be successful, Memphis wrestling, and I don't mean the brand Memphis wrestling, I mean wrestling in Memphis would be in a whole better position right now if guys could work together. That don't mean you gotta co-promote, just be civil with each other and understand, hey, you know, here's the thing, if you could at least be civil, maybe you could share a little bit of talent here and there. Maybe you could build some big shows with some inter-promotional matches on them. You know, that's one thing
if TNA can send some of their people to work the Royal Rumble with WWE and their competitors, come on. Let me make sure I say this, Buster. I'm finna give this to you. I have no ill will towards anybody in the wrestling industry in the Mid-South area. My prayer is that everyone be successful. I don't hold any grudges. I don't dislike anybody at all. That's not my deal. I have no ill will to anyone personally at all. Let me make sure I make that publicly clear. I'm even man enough to say if I've offended anyone, whether it was intentional or unintentional, I apologize. Because that's never not my deal, is to try to offend or hurt anybody in any kind of manner. Now, if me being successful offends you, that's your problem. That's not my problem.
Right.
And one thing 100%. I won't do is dim my light just to be in a circle. And so often that's what we do. That's what happens in the wrestling industry. If you're not a drinker, you're not a smoker, they'll try to isolate you. And then you feel like that you got to do all that. I'm one of the ones that I think for myself. I'm my own man. I take my own bumps and bruises. I even told my church today, if I go to hell, I'm going to go to hell because of me, not because of nobody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just me.
Yeah, man, here's the thing. Memphis in general right now is the wrestling is just and here's the thing, all of it. Like I said, there is no one guy out there who's the star who can pack an arena. It's just not the case. So when there's not that one guy, you know, then you need to kind of look at it a different way. Maybe we need to build some big cards where we get the best from over here, the best from over here, the best from over here, and make one big giant card maybe once a year and see if we can't pack the Landers Center or somewhere, man.
And that's what we're trying to do with Bluff City Wrestling. We're trying to bring in international stars to help build our roster because of the limitations that we have at Bluff City Wrestling with talent around this area not being allowed to come work for us if they're working other indie shows in the area that's even 50 or 60 miles away from us. They're told they can't come work for us, which is fine. So what we have to do is we have to adjust, and that's what we've done. We've put money to the side and we've collaborated to start bringing in talent from like the Carolinas, from Florida. We done got with Tom Latimer and and Al Snow and guys like that to help us to bring in talent, Sir Mo, to help us bring in talent to make sure that we stand out and we become different. Because now we're blessed to have our own studio. You
Right.
know what I
That's
mean?
talk to us about that, man, because that's one of the big things. That's one of the things I feel like that's kind of hampered Bluff City from the start is not having a permanent place so you can have consistency all the time. The show can look good. The show can look the same. Here's the thing: when you got a permanent place and you get your roster filled out like you want it, that's when the storylines and stuff become more consistent too. And I feel like that's been an issue with Bluff City too. Just consistency in general, not having a permanent place to call home that hey, here's where we're going to be every such and such day. We're going to be doing TV tapings here. Come here. You want to have fun? You want to see a good wrestling show? Here's where Bluff City is. And like I said, you're 100% right about the talent around our area. Look, we have some awesome talent, but we also have some highly inexperienced, even the ones who are somewhat trained good are highly inexperienced, especially when it comes to working television matches. And that's one thing I see is a lot of these TV matches, I feel like the guys are working them like they're in Dyersburg on a house show. They don't understand that when you got TV, you got to have energy. You ain't got 15 minutes all the time. Sometimes you got 5. And in that 5 minutes, you got to go out there and you got to have energy, intensity. You got to make them people feel what you're feeling. And it's just hard, man.
Well, and that's because you have so many guys and so many promotions around this area get guys who's green and don't really know anything. And they automatically put belts on them and tell them that they're great and they're not great. They haven't even developed. They don't even know anything yet. And then they believe in their own minds that they're already there and they don't strive to become any better. So when it comes to us, even at Bluff City Wrestling with the studio and the ring and all that stuff, man, I even made a post for yesterday that if you're in this industry, if you're already trained or whatever, you got access now in the city of Memphis for a ring. I'm not charging guys anything at all to come and work out and train with us. Guys that's already been in the business. I just want to help you get polished, be developed. The only way that you can pay me is be successful in doing this. If you take it serious and you want to go to the next level, God has put me in position to partner up with a lot of good people who's on another level than what we are. You know what I mean? That's able to get you seen other places. Later on in the year, I'll be going to do stuff with the NWA. Hopefully, I'll be going up to OVW. I'll be up in Middle Tennessee in a few weeks, actually. So I just want to see how many people that I can help. So when my career is done and I've taken my last bump, I want to be able to look out and see some of the guys that my hand has actually touched and be like, wow, they actually did this thing. And that's what I want to do. I want everybody to be successful. If they want to do this for real, I want to make sure that I can be a cheat sheet to help them get to that next level.
Right. Look, talk to me about how it felt to ink the deal on your new building, Bluff City home, man. Talk to me about finally knowing that, hey, we have a home. There ain't no change in 3 weeks from now. We know where we're going to be. Now we can really start putting our plan into work, man.
Man, when I tell you, I always got to go Bible because that's who I am. Everything has a time and a season, right? And sometimes what happens is when you fail in life, you go too fast. Or when you fail in life, you go too slow. And the only way that you know that your timing is your timing is that you got to do a lot of praying and meditating. So what happened is the guy that actually owns the building is actually cousins to my cousins. And so therefore he has 3 buildings in this one building. It's called the Memphis Coliseum, right? So this is big, huge venue that can hold up to probably about 1,500, 2,000 people in this building easy. But then he has another side that holds about 200 that he don't even use, right? So we worked out a deal to where we'll get that building over there. That'll be our building. And then we can get the big building that holds about 2,000 people. I can get that twice a year or 4 times a year. You know, when it's not booked or whatever.
Right.
So that's the blessing. So that's the blessing. I had some good partners to go with me before I signed the deal to look at the building. And because, and I'm going to say this, I know a lot of people might think that everybody hates Johnny Dotson. That's not the case. I got some people that genuinely love me, right? And actually don't mind putting out some money to help me to accomplish what it is that I'm covering, because they can see the vision. They see where my heart is. You know what I mean? I'm not out to destroy anybody. What I do and the vision that I have may be different than most promoters. Everything that I do, I try to do for the community. I want to make a difference in that community. If you will notice, we have a summer camp that we're going to do July the 10th through the 14th.
I seen that, dude. I think that's really cool, dude. I think that's a cool thing.
Because, again, I'm blessed to be in a position that most wrestlers and most promoters can't be, is not in. So by me being a police officer for the state, I know all of the people that's affiliated with the state. I know all of the big wigs for the state. So they actually came to me and talked to me about it because of the way the kids respond to me that's in custody or that's in foster care. You know what I mean? I've helped so many kids get their high school diploma and become college students. A lot of people don't know in the state of Tennessee, if a child is in foster care, if they complete high school, they have the opportunity to go to any state university in the state of Tennessee for free for 4 years.
Wow, I didn't know that myself, Johnny. That's cool. I had no idea, man.
Not only do they get a chance to go to college free for 4 years, that means that the state helps them get their own apartment, help them get their driver's license, help them get their car, help them get food. They get a monthly allowance, everything. So my job when I'm around them, and I don't have to do this. This is just me being me, because that's not my job. But it's impossible for me to interact with children on a day-to-day basis when I come by to visit certain facilities for the state and not have some kind of interaction with them. And I know they watch me on TV and they know who I am. You know what I mean? I don't want them to think that the police is a bad person, everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I try to show them genuine love and try to help them any way I can. And it has resonated. And people start to talk about it because kids will bring me their report card. So Officer Dotson, look what I got, Sarge. Look what I got, Sarge. And it just started to build from there.
Well, here's the thing, Johnny. A lot of people may not know it. Most people that kind of know you do. But let's pull it back a little bit. You talk about these things and you can identify with a lot of these kids because you wasn't a saint when you were young. So kind of take us back so anybody watching or anybody who sees this can kind of get an idea of why this is so close to your heart and hits home with you. Because you were one of these kids. You wasn't an orphan or homeless, but you were a street kid. You rambled, you run the roads, you did things you shouldn't do. Tell us a little bit about that history and that kind of leading you to where you are, Johnny.
Yeah, I was involved in a lot of gang activity, and it was so bad that it started coming to my house to work with my mom and my father, and they told me I had to leave. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I couldn't put them in a situation, so I end up leaving on my own. I sold drugs. I'm not proud of it, but that's what I had to do. I felt at the time to survive. I was affiliated in gang violence and criminal mischief. You know what I mean? I did that. I dropped out of high school in the 12th grade. A lot of people don't even know this though, but I was an honor student in school. You know what I mean? But I had bad conduct grades. I was that kid that my grades was always good, but my conduct was bad. You know what I'm saying? So what ended up happening, I ended up dropping out of school in the 12th grade. I didn't get my high school diploma until 2008. I just got my bachelor's degree in theology in 2021. Okay. So I can tell young people the story. I done been shot at. I done shot at folks. I done been in fights. I done did a lot of stuff in my life. I was always really good with guns. So I had to learn to challenge or channel the energy of negativity to something positive. So that's what made me go get my pistol certifications, my instructor license, my law enforcement instructor license, and all that kind of stuff because of the things that I was doing on the street. Why can't I take something negative and turn it into a positive? So anybody that need handgun permits, armed guard license, anything like that, I'm the guy. I'm an instructor for the state.
Right. And here's the thing, man. That's something I think people need to understand. Now look, the boys in the business are one thing, but just the fans out there that don't know nothing about Johnny, don't know nothing about who you really are, your personal life, or anything like that. You know how they are. What they see on TV is what they believe. So,
Absolutely.
and it's good. I think it's good for these people to realize that, hey, you persevered through life. It wasn't like you wasn't willing to accept, I'm going to be a gang member my whole life. I'm going to sell drugs my whole life. You had more drive than that. And this is something that any of these kids can do if they put their mind to it and decide, hey, I want to be better in life. And here's the thing, like you said, it's taken you 20 years or more to get where you are today. It's a constant growing process. So these kids also got to understand that when you first make that switch, don't mean everything's going to fall in place. You still got to work for that and work hard to become who you want to become.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the hardest thing for me is that I had to realize, and I'm still battling this thing now, Buster, believe it or not. Everybody who start with you doesn't mean they have to finish with you. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Even with some of the guys in the wrestling industry now, as much as I love them, maybe I have to realize my season hanging with them is up. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt, when people show you who they are, you have to believe them. Buster, man, you cool. And no one can be in my presence and talk bad about you and you're not there to defend yourself.
Right.
Because what would make them so comfortable to talk about you in my presence? Unless I'm talking too.
Right.
And so I'm that kind of a friend. I'm that kind of a guy. You know what I mean? So I know everybody is not designed to go where I'm going. And because they're not going where I'm going, I have to be strong enough to understand they're going to shoot fiery darts and snares my way to try to prevent me from getting where I'm going. That's just how it goes.
Right. And here's the thing, like you said, you always kind of, you relate pretty much everything back to God. But that's part of who you really are, man. I'm going to tell you something. I watched, you posted a sermon a few days ago. A couple of days ago. I don't remember, 2 or 3 days ago. But I watched that whole sermon, dude. You're good, man. I could feel you. I could feel your emotions when you were up there, man. I could feel what you were saying. It wasn't just words coming out of somebody's mouth. I could feel it, and I felt like the people there could feel you too, could feel what you were saying, what you were talking about, and what you believe in, dude. And here's the thing. That translates. That is one of the most important things in the world in the wrestling business is being able to connect with the audience, whether it's getting heat or getting glory. You still, if you want to connect with those fans, you have to tap into their emotions. You can't just spout words. You got to make them feel something.
You gotta be real. And I don't mind sharing this. I celebrated 10 years today as being pastor at that church, right? 10 years. Most of the people that goes to that church, either I grew up with them, or I sold dope to their family members, or if they seen me beat up and shoot at, or I'm serious.
Right.
And so most of them said when they came to join the church, if you can change, anybody can change. And then they made this statement here to me. You was real in the streets. I know you will be real in the church. Because if I told you that I'm going to slap you when I see you, whenever I saw you, I slapped you. That was just me.
And that's something that's, here's the thing, in the wrestling business really does not like real overall. You meet people, here's the thing in the wrestling business, you do meet certain people that you find you can trust and that'll ride with you no matter what. And like you said earlier, those are the people who's going to help you succeed. The people who, more people you're going to find out you cannot trust them than you can trust.
Absolutely.
And I made a thing a couple of months ago, a month or so ago, I wrote a thing on Facebook about, here's the thing about trusting people. if to find out who you can trust, first of all, you have to trust these people. That's the quickest and easiest way to find out who you can and can't trust. Here's the thing. Once you find out you can't trust somebody, you avoid that person. The people you find out you can trust, you pull them in and you embrace them. That's it. But it's the quickest and simplest way. You're going to get screwed over in life, but the quicker it happens to you and the quicker you learn from it, the better off you are, point blank, from that point forward.
And you know what? My motto is similar. I say you trust everybody. You trust the people who's going to be with you, and you trust the ones that ain't for you to be exactly who they are.
Right.
Trust them to screw you over. Trust them to lie on you. Trust them to scandalize your name. Trust them to try to block whatever blessings you got coming. Trust them because that's who they are. Trust them to be who they are.
Right.
A snake is a snake. Trust that he'll bite you.
That's right. That's the truth, man. So look, man, like I said, you kind of come from the bottom, from nothing up. You founded Bluff City Wrestling. Bluff City has kind of moved into a new stage now. You're not the end-all, be-all at Bluff City anymore. You can't just say we're going to do it and it's going to happen no more. You could very well be voted right out and say, no, we're not going to do that. And, you know, we're the majority's against you. But talk about the Mid-South Television Network. Talk about what made you decide to take this next giant step, man, to create something that is. Here's the thing. The Mid-South Television Network gives you the opportunity to not only help Bluff City Wrestling, but other companies out here too that are willing to work with you and want to be a part of something like this. So talk to me about the decision and how heavy a decision it was for you to decide to go on and commit to making one of these, creating your own channel, because there's a lot to it. It's not just like creating a Facebook page.
No, it isn't. I have to give a lot of credit to my wife, man. My wife is a very smart woman. Like she looks at things from a different perspective. You know what I mean? And then I have a CPA and good marketing team to help us on, and that's where I messed up at also in the beginning, because being a wrestler doesn't mean that you know how to promote, you don't know how to market, you just know how to wrestle. That's what you do, right? So you have to have people around you. You got to get a good team around you to make things, go the way you need it to go. So CW30 costs us roughly about $4,000 a month, right?
Right.
And so when you look at it from that perspective, they're the one winning. You're not. So when my wife started to look into like, well, what, everybody going to streaming, nobody's looking at local TV anymore. What if we go ahead and develop a streaming platform? That why we can get it on everything, Roku, Fire TV, Apple, on everything, because now kids watch everything from their phone or for some kind of smart device. Right. Then she made the statement, she was like, every TV that's being made now is a smart TV. And she said, what about if we do it and we do our own television network to where we have time slots to where we can help other wrestling promotions in the Mid-South area, don't break the bank, charge them a little something, but not much,
right,
and give them access, and then give them QC codes to where people can scan and they can put all that stuff on a real television network. And I was like, okay, how much it costs? It was expensive, but it was cheaper than what we was paying all year at CW30.
And here's the thing, at the CW30, for $4,000 a month, all you're getting is 30 minutes or an hour of TV time. You don't get no other pull. I've never seen CW30 not one time promote Bluff City on its own. From the time it existed, from day one, I can't recall ever seeing CW30 promote, we got Bluff City Wrestling here on their own. Anytime Bluff City was promoted, it was y'all doing it. It was Bluff City promoting it. And with your own network, not only now do you can do anything you want. You can be on anytime you want. Plus, like you said, now there's the opportunity to bring other companies on board, charge them a fee, get them where they can be on television and expose their product to more people. And here's the thing. we're talking about just wrestling, but the Mid-South Television Network's not just about wrestling. Y'all are open to all kinds of other content if people wanna bring it, be a part of Mid-South Wrestling Television, right?
Right. Now, but here's the thing. So we started getting a lot of downloads, right? So I get an email. I want to say it was Wednesday of last week because we got MSN. So it's a Mid South Television Network, right?
Right.
So MSN sent a paper to the developers and told them that we had to change the name from Mid South Television Network because MSN, right?
I was going to ask you about that. I was headed there because I seen it's still the app, still Mid South Television Network, but when you click on it, it's different now. So talk to us about it.
So we had to come up with another name. So me talking to Larry and talking to all of the guys, right? We didn't want people to think that the Mid South Television Network was just solely Bluff City Wrestling, because we didn't want to be Bluff City Television Network or anything like that. So we wanted to be all conclusive to give everybody a shot, you know what I mean? Like talk shows, podcasts. We want to show that we'll put anybody on there. So we wanted to be universal. So now the name will be the River City Television Network.
I seen that, man. And I think I like that better, man. It kind of throwed me off when I first clicked on and it said River City on it. But the more I thought about it and stuff, I think I like that better, man, because here's the thing. I think you probably could have fought the little MSN thing, but do you want to spend that kind of money when you're going up against something that's got all the money in the world too? It's like fighting Vince McMahon. He can keep you tied up in court so long till you just get sick of spending your money and just decide, just take it, man. We'll just change it. I like it.
By that happening, it gave me an awakening too. With everything that's going on with all of the so-called beefs and how people are trying to block us and telling guys why they can't work, they can't be affiliated with us, or they can't wrestle on a company for a company that's on the television network. The television network has nothing to do with me. I don't book the shows. I'm not even on these people's shows. Right. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I've learned, God has to sometimes slap you. And he had to tell me there's some fires you put out and there's some fires you let burn out. So there was no need of me trying to put that fire out with MSN. Just let it burn out by just go ahead changing the name. We're just still in the Genesis stage. We're not even had it a good month yet. So it really ain't hurting anything. So I was like, yeah, sometimes you have to bow out gracefully.
Right, man. You got to pick your battles, man. You can't win every battle. Not that, hey, that don't mean you're wrong. There's just there's some battles the opposition's got so much power and so much accessible, whether it's money, whether it's soldiers, whatever it is. Some battles you got to learn when to fight and when to sometimes turn your back and live to fight another day.
And sometimes some of the injuries that you get in battle are self-inflicted. You know what I mean? I admit a lot of stuff that I'm experiencing now. I manufacture my own madness. I created my own chaos because a lot of the guys don't know what a work is and what it's not, right? So by me being at that time the face of the company, instead of me being a heel, I probably should have been that baby face because I do so much in the community. When I say, like, I got a all men's conference that I'm doing in July 2 at one of the biggest churches in the city. I'll be a part of that speaking as well. So I have to try to make sure that I don't allow the wrestling industry, even though what their perception is they're trying to project on me is not accurate, I can't allow myself to get baited in or sucked into what they're saying. You understand what I'm saying? Because so often where I messed up at as well is going live, trying to defend lies and trying to defend. I've learned now in my life, the best defense is no defense. Because guess what? What's done in the dark gonna come out in the light anyway. Right. So if I'm the bad guy or somebody else the bad guy, in time, it'll reveal itself.
Right. You're right about that, man. And here's the thing. You know as well as I do, man, in the wrestling business, no different, man. If you can be you, 90% of who you really are, that's when you're going to be your most successful, dude. Ric Flair's Ric Flair. No matter where you see him, he's Ric Flair. I don't care if there's a TV camera on or if you see him in a restaurant. He's still dressed nice, wooing. He's Ric Flair. He's always Ric Flair. Always be that. Dusty Rhodes was Dusty Rhodes. Me and you've had this conversation before about, you need to let people see who Johnny Dotson really is, man. And I feel like people are starting to open their eyes and take notice to that now.
Absolutely. I get a lot of calls because things are not what they thought. And people are not who they thought. So I'm getting calls. I get calls all the time. But yeah, so the landscape is changing. What I'm targeting and the audience that I'm targeting, I'm trying to be a blessing. It's not about ticket sales. Because I know a lot of people are like, well, why does he do it for free? Because it's not about the money to me. It's about me being a blessing. If I be a blessing to people, bless people, bless people. So I believe everything else will come later.
Right.
That's how I look at it. I don't know. That's been my philosophy.
Here's the thing. Channel 5 gave tickets away the whole time they were in existence. Ain't nobody, they never sold not one ticket to TV wrestling, man.
Yep.
And I mean, it is what it is, and that fits you. Here, I guess it's about a year ago now, you just kind of said the same thing. You were doing some of these churches and you were letting the audience in for free. And you actually made a post, I don't know whether it was in words or a live, where you said, hey, I do this because I know what it's like to not have money to go do things. When I was a kid, right, when I was a kid, one of your stories is we'd send in that self-addressed stamped envelope, get those free tickets, and then all we had to do was have gas money and to go to the wrestling. It didn't cost no money. That way our whole family could go, we could enjoy it. And man, when you did that a year or so ago, whenever it was, because I'm like you, me and my wife are, she is my other half of my conscience. I mean, she's the one that'll tell me, no, you're stupid. Or no, you're right on this. She ain't got no qualms of telling me I'm an idiot if I'm being an idiot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that was one of the most impressive things, not just that you were doing it, but the statement you made about why. That right there was, to me, that was the beginning and the encapsulation of the real Johnny Dotson starting to bleed through the Kang superstar, man. And to me, that's what people need to see. That guy there. That guy that, here's the thing. It ain't like you're getting some bookings and going to take some bookings, but let's be honest, you're not out here trying to be the next star. You're not trying to be the star no more.
No,
you know?
No.
So when you're not trying to be the star no more, that opens up you to help so many people and try to find guys that can be that star and can fill that spot, man. And that's another thing. I think day by day more people are seeing who you really are. Because, I mean, look, me and you, let's be honest. Me and you, up until 3 years ago, we've known each other forever, but we probably didn't really like each other. We did not like each other, but we never connected. The only time we ever connected was in the wrestling ring. And I was at one stage and you was at another when we kind of connected, and it didn't work for you. You know, the way the matches went down and stuff. But in my eyes, and I feel like you know this now, that was really, it was our time right at that time, and you were new, you were fresh, and but you didn't see it that way at the time. But I feel like now you understand that's just the wrestling business. When you first start out, you gotta help the guys, help enhance the guys who it's their time right now. And then a few years down the line, your time comes, and there's going to be someone there to do the same thing for you. And me and you had a match at the casino one night, matter of fact, the very first Memphis wrestling show at the casino.
Right.
And I know afterwards, we didn't even talk afterwards, but I know you wasn't happy. And I wasn't happy because you wasn't happy, because in my head, I'm thinking, he should understand it's our time right now. We're just now getting our first real push. You know what I mean? And so I feel like now, though, we understand each other because you've been in that situation now. Now you've been the guy who it was your time, and you've had these guys have to come out there and make you look good and put you over.
Right.
You know, and that's just the nature of the business in general. But like I said, up until and even when Bluff City started, there's a few times me and you probably couldn't have got face to face, or we'd have both been in jail. But here we are. We kept going back and forth until we kind of found a common ground between us.
You gotta. It's called conversing, and here's the thing that's wrong with the industry as well, is that because you have some people in position, and they call people their friend. If you're my real friend, you would tell me if I'm wrong. If you're my real friend, you would get in my business and say, hey, Johnny, you need to stop this. You're doing this. You need to quit doing this. You're not going to encourage me to do something that can be detrimental to me just because you don't want to make me mad.
Right.
Or just because you want to keep a spot.
Right.
You know what I mean? I surround myself, and I hope he don't get mad by saying this. Alan Steele is that guy for me. If he feel like I'm doing something bad, he's going to call me and he's going to check me about it.
Right.
And that's what a real friend is. I might not like it, because guess what? He knows that he loves me. I love him. He know I might get mad, but I get over it. Poker Face the same way. Poker Face will shoot me a text. You know, and the reason why I don't like calling names is because I don't want people to get shunned because they are my friends and connected to me.
Right.
Because that's what we're living in now in the Mid-South area. It's already out there. Anybody that's cool with Johnny or deal with Johnny, you can't work here.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, but that's what it is.
Here's the thing. I can understand maybe not wanting somebody to go work Bluff City that's on the other TV show. I can understand that, but when it's an off show somewhere and these guys, here's the thing, when you tell these guys they can't go, you pull money out of their pocket. Trust me, look, I was at the show a few weeks ago where a whole crew of guys couldn't come. Dude,
why they couldn't come?
Dude, because they were on you. They, from what I understand, because you made a post a day or so before saying that these certain companies was part of the United Wrestling Alliance, and that was it, man. That's all it seemed to have took. That's all I know about it. But I was at the show when all this went down and they no-showed, and trust me, I watched the guy open up every one of these dudes' envelopes to make up new envelopes for the new talent he had to bring in. A lot of these dudes missed out on a pretty damn good payday. Pretty damn good payday to go to a house show. And how do they make that up, Johnny? Here's the thing. If I tell you you can't go here and it cost you $100, are you not going to want to know where this money is going to be made up at? You know what I mean? Where is this going to even out? Because you're costing me $100 if you tell me I can't go. So what do I get out of the deal, man?
I just hate the manipulation aspect of wrestling. I hate the political aspect of wrestling. I'm just trying to be a blessing to companies who wants to be on television. It's not like I'm wrestling these shows. It's not like I'm on the shows or booking the shows. I'm just giving them a platform so they can showcase their company. And if anybody get upset about that, you need to question them as a person. Because I'm trying to help make wrestling better for everybody. Because now everybody has access to TV. Now everybody can get TV experience.
Right.
They're not looking at the big picture. They're not. So
some of them are. They're just only looking at their picture. They're not looking at everybody else. They're not taking into consideration everybody else's picture. And that's wrestling in general. Man, when you're part of a company, especially if you're exclusive to a company, that's what you live, eat, and sleep until that time comes to an end. You live, eat, and sleep that company until that time comes to an end. And I mean, we really need to open up the wrestling business. Here's the thing: we steady got the noose around the wrestling business's neck around our area, and every day, every year, we tighten that noose a little bit tighter. We're getting a lot less air. What happens when you cut it off completely and the wrestling business dies? Because people don't think it can. But the wrestling business can die around certain areas. And I mean, we're in the area, one of the most rich histories of pro wrestling anywhere in the world, and we're steady tightening the noose on it every single week.
Well, when it come to us, we're trying to give avenues and give people an opportunity. No one in the Mid-South area controls no one controls or have the key to professional wrestling in the Mid-South area. So what I'm trying to do is show other people that there's another path to get to where you're trying to get to. You know what I mean? That's why me and Jerry Lynn is cool. That's why me and Pat Buck is cool. That's why me and Joe Kazanza is cool. It's because I have connections too. So we have to utilize that to show that it ain't just one person that has the way. There's other ways.
Right.
And that's all I'm presenting. And it's up to the individual. I don't knock anybody, you know what I mean? All these guys are grown men. If they make that decision not to work a show, that's them. But now here's the thing, and you know this as well as I know. Sometimes the companies that's on top now don't always stay on top.
Right.
And then you try to come to the company who's now on top. And because you burn that bridge, you can't get in the door.
And see, that's one thing I think that, here's the one thing I've learned, and it came with maturity, Johnny. The older I get, the more mature I get. Look, I can have guys burn bridges with me now, and somewhere down the line, if it's not an opportunity for me, but if it's an opportunity to get them on or bring them on or whatever it is, I'm mature now where I let that shit go. I will let it go. Now, here's the way I always leave it, because I have people that I try to get on the podcast at times, and they'll either say they can't, or they'll just kind of let me check my schedule and get back to you. And a lot of times they don't realize, but a lot of these guys I ask just to test the waters and see what's really going on, just to feel the temperature. And I've had guys no shows things before, but if the right opportunity arises, I'm not going to hold that against them, because what does it accomplish, Johnny? In the end, holding grudges in the wrestling business is what kills the wrestling business.
Now I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm rocking with you. And me personally, I just had an individual to go do a show somewhere, and the promoter called me and asked me what I thought about him. I could have said something bad about him, but I didn't. I gave them my approval. They don't even know it.
Right.
But they didn't know it until I told them. You know what I mean? One thing about me, I'm never going to do, I say again, I'm never going to do anything to hurt anybody. But I did let him know that, look, you never know who knows who in this wrestling industry.
Right.
Just because some people might say this about Johnny down here, but other places, you never know. They might actually love Johnny.
And let me ask you this, Johnny. I personally feel like, man, wrestlers take so much stuff too personal. I mean, look, you can say one thing. Here's the thing: critiquing somebody, that don't gotta mean that you're degrading them or downing them. If you're critiquing something that you've seen that they could do better or should have done a different way and better, guys need to quit taking stuff. Everything in the wrestling business, guys take so personal. And it's a business. If your boss at your job or one of your coworkers come to you that had been there for 30 years and has done every job there is to do in this company, and they see you doing something and they pull you to the side and say, hey man, why don't you try it this way? don't take offense to it like this old guy's trying to tell you what to do. No, more than likely, he's trying to help you make your job easier, trying to help you get further.
The marketing company that we use and the team that we talk to, they told me my biggest problem, the reason why Bluff City didn't do well under my regime, was that I allowed friendship to get in the way of business. And that's something that they told me that you have to stop doing with any business, including the wrestling industry. It just because it's your friend and you give them a job and you know they're not good and they don't look the part, they don't wrestle the part, and you putting them on TV, you're killing your own product because you're doing it because that's your friend.
Right.
Instead of having a guy who's look good, who can really work, but y'all don't like each other. He said, just because y'all don't like each other don't mean that y'all can't do business.
Right.
And that's how you have to look at it. And that's what you have to do if you want your company to be successful. You can hate somebody good personally, but if they're good for business and we all can make money, you have to learn how to bury your personal stuff and deal with them on a business level. It doesn't mean you have to go out to eat, hang with their wives, and kick it with their kids. You're doing it for business.
Right.
And that's why a lot of people mess up on their job. They think their coworkers are their friends instead of just merely coworkers.
Right. I see it all the time, dude.
Yeah.
In my wife, where she works, you see it all the time, man. Everybody's not your friend. Just because y'all talk at work and y'all laugh and you joke and somebody's talking with you and laughing with you, you got to keep your eyes open and read between those lines sometimes. And a lot of times you get blinded by things.
Absolutely.
You want to believe. You want to believe in this person. And some people you just can't believe in, man. It's just as simple as that, Johnny.
Yeah. How's your mother-in-law on a serious note?
Dude, not good. Today and yesterday, she is finally opening her eyes a little bit. She can move one of her hands and they could talk to her and she could squeeze your hand, but she still hadn't come out. She's still on a ventilator, on a feeding tube. They still don't know how much damage the strokes have actually done because she's not come out enough yet for them to finish doing tests and stuff and see what's actually going on in her brain. Our hopes are up today because we got a message from my wife's brother saying that she was a little more alert today, because like she ain't been alert at all since none of this happened. You're going on 2 weeks now, I guess, almost 2 weeks now. But yesterday my wife said she was opening her eyes and said she could talk to her and ask her questions. First time they asked her questions, just simple stuff. You know, I love you, mama, and this and that. And she would react. She would squeeze her hands, or she could tell her, say, if you can understand me, squeeze my hand. But she still got one whole side that no movement in whatsoever. It's still a dire situation, dude.
But we still, like I sent you a text, man. We still gonna be praying, bro. That's the name of the game. We just got to continue to pray.
Man, I appreciate it, dude. This is a tough old woman, man, and she's been through a lot through her life, and she's fighting. She's fighting hard, dude. I can tell you that. We're just hoping for the best, man. I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
So look, Johnny, Lafayette's Music Room, June 22nd. Now look, you're in Lafayette's Music Room, June 22nd, but the last time you went there to enjoy a night out, you were escorted out the building. So talk to me about going from you can't come in to now going to have a huge show there on June 22nd. Talk to me about the situation, man.
It was just a situation to where me and the owner had a conversation, and we worked out the details. He's a really good guy, and he didn't really agree with how things transpired, and he wanted to make it right with me. I didn't, I could have blasted him, but some stuff, like I said again, you just have to let it go. You know what I mean? And just charge it to the game, and that's what I did. I hold no ill will, no nothing. It was just a way to, how can I put it? to show me that he wasn't in agreement with what happened.
But here's the thing, Johnny. You kind of twist that box, and what started out as a negative turned out into a positive for Bluff City and you and everybody
That's the story of
involved.
my life. Every time somebody tried to do something to hurt me, it always turned around for my good, bro. That's why I'm in the position I'm in. Anytime somebody has ever came at me or tried to hurt me in any kind of way, God always turned that thing around to bless me. And so that's why I want to make sure on June 22nd, it's really not even about ticket sales or anything like that, really, for us. It's just more so of showing that we want to bring a brand of wrestling to Memphis that's not going to be subpar, that we can try to give our absolute best. I'm not downgrading anybody else. Let me make sure I say that. I'm not knocking anybody else. But my whole life, anything I've ever done, I always wanted to do it big. And I know with me, everything that I do takes strategic planning and steps. So I wasn't going to try to go ahead and bring names in the beginning because we only been here, we haven't been 2 years.
Right.
But now I think it is the time. We got our own building. We got access to another building that's bigger. Now I think it's time to show our hand and put everything out on the table.
Right. Hey, T, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everybody's prayers and thoughts, man. It's been rough on my wife. She was a single mom. Her dad never was around, so her mama's her whole world, man. You know, up until she had kids and we had our family, her mama set the sun, you know. So it's been rough, but I'm with you, Johnny. Here's the thing, man. Some good names here. The names y'all are bringing in are different. They're not the same names. They're not average. You got Thomas Lattimore coming in. You got Big Moose coming in, and Ruthie J. Is that who's coming in?
Yes, she's also with the NWA. Yes.
Right. Some of the KAW guys, Terry Golden's supposed to be there.
Yes.
If I'm thinking right, Superstar Bill Dundee going to be there?
Yes.
Big level up for Bluff City. And here's the thing. You don't have to down somebody else's company to try to elevate your company, man. And
no.
And this is I think this show right here is going to be the start of maybe the new era of what we can expect from Bluff City, man.
Yes. And that's what we want to do. We're not out here trying to knock nobody. We're not focused on anybody else. We're just focused on what we're doing. We can care less what anybody else doing. We're just focusing on us. As you can see, we're sturdy moving forward, right? Our wheels are not just spinning, we're moving forward. And if we just stay focused and continue to move forward and not try to knock anybody else or try to put anybody else down, but celebrate everybody, I think we'll be all right.
Man, like I said, there's been so much go on since the last time you were here. You know, we've talked about the new regime of Bluff City, how it is now compared to how it was. We've touched on the Mid-South Television Network, which is now the River City Television Network.
Right.
We just touched on the big show at the Lafayette Music Center. And so that brings me to the next big thing, man. You kind of like kicking the door wide open. The United Wrestling Alliance. Talk to me about, is this something that you've had on your mind for a long, long time and it's just now coming to fruition? Or is this something that you were discussing with some people and the idea kind of planted the seed and here we are, dude?
I had been talking about it from the beginning. I really wanted Bluff City to be that. I wanted to be a bunch of promotions joined together with the top talent and we put it on television. But my wife, as usual, was like, you know, it's going to be hard to do that when you got so many people have their own ideal of what wrestling should be.
Right.
So the best way to do that is just make branches. make branches, and nobody supersedes anybody. Because if you really look at it, all of us still on the same level.
Right.
Nobody around Memphis is over anybody. Let's be honest.
Right.
Everybody in the Mid-South area is on the same level. The only difference between some companies and other companies is that they have their own facilities.
Right.
That was separated some from others. So once, you know, we get our own facility, that's consistency. So what else will be the difference? We can bring names too.
Right.
But my thing is, if Bluff City bring in names, they need to bring in a caliber of name, a top caliber. I don't just want to bring in somebody because I can say I'm bringing them in that nobody's going to remember or they can't perform.
Right.
I want to bring people in that still is at the top of their game. Because me personally, I feel like I'm still at the top of my game. And that's what I'm set out to show. I think I got one more good run in me. That's why I'm going to go to the NWA. That's why I'm going to go to OVW. That's why I'm traveling. I got one more good run in me. And I'm going to show everybody why I am still the best around here. People don't want to admit it, but it's the truth.
See,
especially in my age bracket. Who else is close to me? Nobody.
Here's the thing, Johnny, and you know what? Me and you, I've told you this before. I think that right there is the key. Here's the thing. For the last 3 years, you've done more talking than in the ring wrestling. I think once you get back in the ring on a regular basis and you're back up to par like you want to be, I think that's when you're going to see a lot more of these eyes opening and these mouths closed, because it's one thing to say I'm the best, but when you get in there and people can see I'm still the best, that right there is proof in the pudding, man. That's where the truth lies.
And that's why I make sure I post video. I don't just talk it. All you gotta do is look at me throughout history, my time. Everybody can see what it is that I do in the ring, and you can't deny it. You can't deny what I do on the microphone. You can't deny it. It's gonna take a good person to get on a mic and go toe-to-toe with me on the microphone. That's gonna be hard to do.
See, I think that's what you ought to do too in some of your training. I think you ought to have a promo class. I do, man. I mean, look, back in the old days, that's something that would have never been thought of, but times change. Wrestling's different. The way people perceive wrestling is different now. People perceive wrestling now as more of an entertainment, where when I still broke in, there was still kayfabe was dying, but there was still kayfabe. We still had to treat it like if someone called you out on the street, you had to stand up for it. Come on, you want to try me? Try me.
Exactly.
And you kind of, wrestling's viewed a little different now, and I think you would be perfect for it, running some promo classes, because here's the thing, man, and I'm going to use Bluff City for instance. This morning I was watching the show, and there's a couple of young guys on there, and the glaring thing I seen when they cut a promo, the confidence. They were unsure when they got out in front of the camera. You could see the unsurety in their eyes. And you know as well as I do, this is pro wrestling. When that camera's on, whether you're as unsure as you want to be inside, your eyes have to say, I am who I am. I believe what I'm saying. And people can feel that. And that's the only thing I seen. And I think, man, you really ought to teach some promo classes and try to help these guys. They got to understand that, speak from your heart. I mean, really, look. You might have an outline of a promo, like here's where we're headed, here's what I want you to hit on, but you still got to take and internalize that and figure out how. I got to figure out how Buster would say that. You got to figure out how Johnny Dotson, the Kang superstar, would say this. These young guys, man, that's one thing they're lacking on big time is promos. When you put them in front of a camera, they get that deer in the headlights look, and you can see the unsurety coming out of their eyes. And I think having someone work with them on a regular basis and help build their confidence, help them find their voice, I think you could be that dude, man.
Well, man, I have no problem helping that, because once the lights come on and the camera's in my face, I'm right where I want to be. That's my environment. That's why I'm looking right at them, make sure I'm looking in the camera. I am the absolute best, pound for pound, in this area. I don't have to have no acrobatic lessons. I ain't got to be the cartwheel man. I am a professional wrestler, and I am still the absolute best pound for pound. I'm not a drug head. I'm not an alcoholic. I am a professional wrestler. And when I get in the ring, I show everybody why I am that good.
There it is, man. Got to make people believe. You got to touch that emotion in them, man.
And I believe it.
You know, here's the thing. We all know it. You can be the best in the world in the ring, but if you cannot get out and cut a promo and talk to them people on camera and make them believe, your opportunities are going to dwindle and dwindle no matter how good you are in the ring. Because if the rest of it's where you're marketable at. That's how you market yourself. That's how you get over. What you do, what you say. That's what people buy into more than the actual matches. It's why, what, the things you say to get them to come watch this match, man. And you know, it's just one of the things that, and it ain't just, I just used Bluff City this morning because it's fresh on my mind, and it was glaring to me. But it ain't just there. I watch a lot of shows that there's a lot of young guys that when they get in front of that camera, they get this, you can tell they don't really know what to say. They don't have no confidence in themselves and who they are. Here's the thing. A lot of times they don't even know who they are. And you know as well as I do, if you're going to be in front of that camera when that red light's on, whether you believe it 100% in your heart fully right now or not, you still have to make everybody out there believe you believe it.
Absolutely. And that's one of the luxuries that I do have now, that I don't have to worry about the booking. I don't have to worry about all the different, storylines and angle. I can just focus on me training and wrestling. I will say that, and it has relieved me from a lot of stress. JPJ, I think he does an excellent job. Chris Lex is working with him. Storm and all these. They look. It made me feel good to see these guys step up to want to learn that aspect of the business. Everybody has to learn, because guess what? Johnny Dotson ain't going to be around forever. Jerry Lawler's not going to be around forever. Bill Dundee is not going to be around forever. So we have to trust this industry in the hands of some of these young guys. And the only way that we can do that is give them an opportunity. Quite naturally, if Tom Latimer comes in, Johnny Dotson and Tom Latimer probably could tear the house down.
Right.
Johnny Dotson and Moose could probably tear the house down. But I've already done that with a lot of other guys that I grew up watching, some of my heroes. Why not put these younger guys who hadn't had the opportunity in these positions just to see what would happen? It'll be a good learning experience for them.
Yeah,
and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, look, man, we're fixing to have to start wrapping it down. I told you beforehand, we got to head out again tomorrow. So this ain't going to be the 3-hour podcast like I normally do. But look, before we start wrapping it up, let's go back to the United Wrestling Alliance. Talk to me about some of these companies. Let's promote some of these companies that are part of this UWA, man.
We got Crossroad. We got AWA. We have American Hostile Championship Wrestling in Missouri. I've been talking to some people in Nashville. I've been talking to some people in Savannah, Georgia. So we're getting a lot of different people who really wants to be a part of this thing.
Right, and we seen in the little video, there is actually a UWA World Heavyweight title that somewhere down the line, I'm assuming all these promotions are going to have somebody in vying for this title, dude. Talk to me about the decision to go on and get the title made and create somewhere down the line a UWA World Heavyweight Champion.
We've already got one made, but it looks so close to the old UFC title that we don't want it to be confused. It was more based off of, you got like Doom, a wrestler in a mask, and how Doom looked. You know what I mean? There's an African American figure on it. And we just didn't want it to get confused with no, UFC title.
I seen that, dude. To be honest with you, Johnny, when I seen the belt, that is the first thing I thought was, that's the old school UFC dude on there from the original UFCs, you know. So
So that's why we wanted to we got a developer to design us another one. And we want to make sure that the champion, whoever the UWA World Heavyweight Champion is, be recognizable worldwide, internationally. So what we want to do is each of the brands will have their own champion, and he can defend that belt wherever. So yeah, so that number one contender for that belt would be the top guy in each company, and so he'll come in to go to all the different companies. So we'll have a world champion, we'll have the tag team, and we'll have the women's division. We're actually trying to go ahead and develop the women's division as well. I think Camille has just signed with WWE, if I'm not mistaken. That's Tom's wife.
right.
And so, that's some things that me and Tom talking about. Tom has a school out in Orlando, so we'll probably be getting a lot of his students and stuff in as well to work for us too. So we're definitely building this thing up, brother. We're building this thing up.
Yeah, man, a lot of big things. Like I said, a lot of changes has gone on in the 6 or 7 months since we talked last, man. All for the positive, man. Even your surgeries and stuff that you had to go through. Now that you're through them and on the other side of them, it's a plus for you instead of a minus. Might held you back for a few weeks, couple months, but once you get completely healed, you're gonna be free to go, man. You're gonna be able to go out here. You're gonna be able to go around, and that's something else too. You going around to these other places and working some of their shows is going to create more connections and more bridges and more avenues for more opportunity to bring more talent in. The opportunity for Bluff City talent or any of these companies' talent that's part of the UWA to maybe go to Ohio Valley and get an opportunity. Go to NWA, get an opportunity. Go wherever and get an opportunity that they would have never got before.
I say this. I have a tremendous relationship with a lot of the guys that's at the NWA. I totally respect Kyle Davis, totally, Joe Kazana, totally. If things fall the way I think it should, I think I'll probably be making a big announcement soon. That's all I can say.
Man.
I can't go any further. But if things go the way that I think is going, I say again that there's been some really good meetings and conversations. Things go the way that I believe it will go, we'll be making some big announcements.
Well, look, before we get out here, what's one thing we ain't touched on? Got this big KAW show coming up, man. Close to the end of the year, man. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on this big KAW show. Hey, I'm hearing a lot of chatter, dude, and if the chatter I'm hearing comes to fruition, this could very well be the biggest show that Memphis has seen in years and years and years.
What have you heard first?
I can't tell you what I've heard. I can't tell you what I've heard, dude.
I can't tell you. What I know.
That's a conversation we'll have to be off air for, man. But just talk to me about just KAW's presence coming back, man, because you've helped this along, man. You've had a part in it.
Yeah. I think this event will make history. I think it would be on the same level of Monday Night Memories type of atmosphere. I do believe that.
I'm with you on that.
I believe this is going to be huge. And for me to be a part of it, of the foundation of, being a part of it.
Right.
I'm truly honored, you know what I mean? And I'm truly blessed to be sitting in the seat where I sit, Terry Golden, I love that brother. One of the realest guys in the industry. You don't find too many Terry Goldens, brother.
And he's another one of these dudes, like you said from the get-go, Pro wrestling does not like people it can't control. And Terry's one of these people. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to do it where he wants to do it. He's going to do it when he wants to do it. And it don't matter what anybody else really thinks about it. And you know,
he tells me I remind him so much of him. And he said, that's why I think that we connect the way we do. Because you got to think about it. In the era when Terry Golden came, Jerry Lawler was the guy.
Right.
And in the Mid-South area, he was the most successful guy as far as financially and business-wise as well.
Right.
And then you get a guy like Terry Golden who has his own money and his own stuff. You know, there's going to be. So he's the one that educated me, because there were some things that I was ignorant to. And a lot of times people use the word ignorant as a derogatory term. The definition of the word ignorant means you just didn't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he had to explain it to me. People don't like people who appear to be successful or they are on a level above. And I had to listen to what he was explaining. When we really look at a lot of the wrestling people in our area, a lot of them don't have much.
Right.
That's why the Ric Flair gimmick was such a hated gimmick, because Ric Flair lived that life. Right? By no means do I look down on anybody. By no means I think I'm better than anybody. Let me make sure I say that.
Right.
But if I got to dumb myself down to be like, I won't be like. That's it.
Truth, man. That's the truth, man. Like I said about companies, you don't have to down another company to elevate your company. You trying to elevate your company does not mean you're dogging other companies. It just means you want the best for where you are in your place, man.
But me, this is how crazy I am. If I get to a level, I don't want to be at that level by myself. I want to bring some people with me.
Right.
And that's why people are missing the market. And in the Mid-South area, everybody wants to be here and they want everybody else to be here. Can't you only imagine what the wrestling industry could be if I'm here and I start to bring the AWA in? I start to bring, because all of us are in different areas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What if I brought Crossroads here? What if I brought Premier Pro here? What if I brought, and it does nothing for me, but it does something for them, right? So not only does it do something for them and it does nothing for me, but it does something for the entire wrestling community.
Right.
That's my vision. To see everybody drawing 300, everybody drawing 250, everybody drawing. And then at least World Class and the USWA understood that they was in different states, but they could come together to build some good angles.
Right. And that's hard. Here's the thing. That's what the personal side of pro wrestling hinders all day long, every day. When people take everything so personally, their emotions get to them and they forget all about business. They don't care about whether we can get together and make a bunch of money and draw a bunch of fans and create some moments that last a lifetime. Once they get that emotion going, and that jealousy, it goes out the window, man.
And then you got some people that they want to be the only people the only person that's making money. Everybody can make money. Everybody can make money. Once everybody start to see what I got going on and how I'm doing it, I have no problem assisting other people to do what I'm doing, because my money gonna be guaranteed anyway. No one goes into business to lose money.
Right.
You might lose money the first few years, but after that, you're looking for a profit. So I got to have something going on for me to constantly do it for free.
Right.
So, yeah, got to think about it. And I don't mind sharing that knowledge with people.
See, that's the thing, man. Wrestling is most people don't want to share anything with anybody in the wrestling business, man. Look, it ain't like this is a secret. I've told you before, man. I think you're too kind-hearted, too good-hearted for the wrestling business, because I'll be honest with you, man. I look at the wrestling business totally different in some ways, that I understand that I ain't got to do nothing derogatory to you as a person, like your personal stuff. But if we're competing against each other in the wrestling business, I'll be honest with you, Johnny, I ain't got no morals. I feel like, and look, here's the thing. I just don't, man. I feel like there's a lot of things over the past 3 years that if you had my outlook on it and kind of looked at wrestling the way, because here's the way I look at it. I look at it like, honestly, and I don't just look at it like this, now that I'm kind of back into it and dealing with wrestlers all the time and stuff, man, it's always been one big giant game. It's a chessboard. That's all it is. It's all strategic. I don't make any decision no more out of emotion. Decision. Look, even if I make a decision that quick, in my head, I thought it through and decided that I'm going to do this. What, you know what I mean? I don't make no decisions out of emotion anymore. And when you can quit making wrestling decisions out of emotion, man, the business kind of opens up, man. You understand the business more then. It's a big, giant game. That's all it is. And the way to beat the wrestling business is learn how to play it better than anybody else. Because here's the thing. You cannot change the way this business was designed to work.
Yeah.
You've got to play. It'd be like changing a football field from 100 yards to 50. That changes the whole game. You can't do that. This game was designed a certain way. And let's be honest, pro wrestling is not it was designed as it's a crooked business in its design. These guys were conning people out of their money, ticket sales. You know what I mean? Because think about how many years people still believed in wrestling, to believe that it was all on the up and up, and these guys were really in there going at it, and who won, who lost. It's a weird business. I'll be honest with you, Johnny. If you're a real person on the outside and you come into this business, it's like no other business I've ever seen.
You have to get adjusted, because now me sitting on the different side of the locker room, I had to adjust and realize that there are a lot of cutthroat people. Now, I will say that I am smart enough to all the deals that I've done on behalf of Buff City Wrestling. We did sign no complete clauses. So if anybody wanted to do anything dealing with wrestling the way we do it, they have to come through me in order to get it done. So I did do that. But I don't mind still helping anybody. I have no... If some of the guys that hates my guts and who has talked bad about me and dogged me out and try to hurt shows and tell fans not to go to our shows, even if they tried to come to me and want to know what I'm doing to get financed, I would help them.
And see, that's unique in wrestling business, man. Nobody helps nobody. If it don't benefit them, nobody helps nobody. That's just as simple as that. It's always been that way.
Brother, if you're looking to get rich in the wrestling business doing indies and local shows, you're in the wrong profession.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I don't look at it like that. I do this for the love of the... I promise you, and I can say this confidently. I just told you it cost me roughly $4,000 to do TV, right? Once we went to a half an hour show, it was a little less.
Right.
But I could have bought my Maybach with the money I spent on wrestling. And let's be honest, the wrestling didn't benefit me. I was trying to help the boy.
Hey, and the wrestling business is not cheap. When you're trying to run shows, or look, even without TV, if you just want to pick a town and run shows, wrestling business is still not cheap whatsoever. It takes money. It usually takes more money than you get back to run most of these shows most of the time, you know?
My wife, when I tell you, at one point she was like, "Look, I don't want to keep throwing money away," you know. And she was like, you because at first I said I wanted to give me a Lamborghini, and she was like, "Well, yeah, your Lamborghini is your wrestling,
Right.
you got to pick or choose." But I see that a lot of guys, because people didn't like them more, people said things about them, they weren't given an opportunity. I felt like I needed to give people an opportunity. You know how it was, Hellraiser. If it wasn't for Terry Golden, a lot of us wouldn't even got a chance to be on television at one point,
Right, man. I
because
worked
the
for
other companies wouldn't even look at us.
I worked for SWA, and look, I can't say nothing about them, honestly. I went there, I put everybody over, and then one morning they come in and hand me a booking sheet. And so I was still putting people over on TV, but they were starting to put me in the towns, starting to put me around where they were, obviously they were going to invest into me. It just timing, man. I went there in 97 and it went out of business in 97. So maybe I killed that shit off, Johnny. I don't know, dude. But
See, and I can say that, and that's why I'm so passionate, because I started from the bottom. I wasn't always the champion in Memphis. A lot of people forget that I was an enhancement guy.
right.
I had to work for my spot.
We all were, man. That's something I don't think these guys understand. Look, if you
But now
especially
nobody want to put anybody over. They want to get their stuff in. I didn't get a chance to really breathe on nobody on TV. I used to get beat in 7-8 seconds.
dude, and especially back when it was you still had a USWA, because that was our WWE at the time. That the whole point was you start out in these little towns, you make it to USWA. If you get lucky, then maybe you get to go to WWE or WCW somewhere,
Yep.
Puerto Rico, anywhere. Maybe you get
Yep.
another break to go somewhere else. But that's what I think our territory is missing. We need that one company that kind of is the bar. You know what I mean? We need the one company that, like you says, has the connections to help people if they want to. Know
And that's what we're
people
trying to do.
all over the wrestling world where when they get the right talent, they know that, hey, this talent could really be somebody, they can help send you somewhere else, man, where you can develop further. Because even at USWA, you could only develop so far. If you wanted to be any bigger, you had to go to WF or WCW. Simple
Well,
as that.
I tell you, when I was at Power Pro, I didn't stay at Power Pro long at all. I got fired the same day I got hired. Because I wasn't going to do stupid stuff, and I didn't tolerate everything. I wasn't like some other people. You couldn't smack my head. You couldn't curse me out and call me out of my name and say racial slurs to me, and I tolerated it. That wasn't me in the locker room. So one day it happened. Me and Alan Steele was ready to fight some people over there. You know what I mean? And so, that's one thing I can say about Alan. Alan is like my brother for real. Every time there was an issue, he always had my back, because I was a smaller guy at the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was a decision. I was like, Power Pro is WWE, but WCW calling. And they was like, man, you shouldn't go. You shouldn't go. But I had to do what was best for me.
I'm with you, dude. I would have went. What are you supposed to do? You supposed to keep working down here for 40, 50 bucks a night? Or are you going to take this contract where you're going to get a check every week or every 2 weeks or however that's guaranteed going to be there? That's what you get in the wrestling business for anyway, is to make a living doing what you love to do.
Not now. A lot of these boys want Grandma Susan to see me on Saturday. You know?
That's
They
why
want their aunties and uncles and redneck relatives and trailer park living folk to come and see them so they can say they're a wrestler. I'm a wrestler.
I trained with a guy who never went to TV because he couldn't have none of his family see him get beat up on TV. Never. A good wrestler too, man, but never ever would go take that chance and go studio, because he knew he was going to have to put somebody over. Oh, I can't do that. I can't have my family and friends seeing me lose on TV. I'm like, man, you in the wrong business. You need to go on and quit wrestling right now, because here's the thing. That what you see out there don't matter. But like you said, in the dressing room is where you have to earn your respect. That's where you don't look. Anything can happen out there, storyline wise. But when you get to the back and someone disrespects you, that's when you got to stand up. And that right there earns the respect of your peers and the boys quicker than anything. Is standing up for yourself in the dressing room.
I done got into quite a few fights in the wrestling business. I got into a fight with Brian Christopher at television in the locker room. I got suspended for 2 weeks.
I think everybody's got a Brian story, man.
Yeah.
Most people do.
I'm talking about a real fist fight.
So, all right, you've had the fist fight with Brian. In your head, right after it happened, you're thinking one thing, but what actually happened? What actually happened out of that?
Afterwards, King called me in the back because Rocky Johnson was there and Mabel was there, but they was out because Spellbinder sucker punched me from behind. Okay, so it got back to Mabel and Rocky Johnson. What happened? So they beeline into the back because Rocky Johnson always loved me for some reason. And King pulled me in the office and asked me what happened, and I told him what happened. And he was like, well, Johnny, calm down, because I was going to get my gun out the car. I could have ruined my life that day.
Right.
But I left my keys on the table. And so everybody was trying to tell Bill to tell me not to come in the building with a gun. And Bill told them they should have left him alone. That was Bill Dundee. I told y'all not to mess with him because he ain't going to take it.
Coming from a man who regularly carries a gun, so.
Yes. So Alan Steele was like, uh-oh. So Alan Steele started telling everybody, y'all might want to get up on that table and leave. Because Alan know what I was going to do. So I left my keys, and when I came in, that's when Rocky Johnson grabbed me and Bill grabbed me. And Bill was like, kid, so you going to just throw your life away?
Right.
Having a, the conversation. And so afterwards, me and Brian, it was a show in Jackson, Mississippi, NWA Battle Zone. And he called me to ride with him. And me and him just started talking, you know what I mean? And we became cool, you know what I mean? He understood me. I understood him. We went out one night and some guys wanted to fight him, me being me. And I have a lot of, how can I put it? I have a lot of connections in the world. I will put it that way. If I have an issue, all I do is jump on the phone, and I will have people on planes coming in. I can go that far and say that. And
I don't know if I'd be telling people that, Johnny.
I'm just saying, like, because of the respect that I have, you know what I mean?
Right.
And people, they don't want me to mess up my life. So they begin to start to gird me and shield me from certain things.
Right.
So that's why on Facebook, and I want to make sure I say this, on Facebook, when people put Johnny Dotson posts and they say things bad and negative, the reason why I hear it and delete it, because if you look at some of them, some of those people see those posts and they be like, look, do we need to come to Memphis? What's going on down in Memphis?
Right.
And so I'd be like, oh, it's just wrestling, and I had to call people, be like, look, stop posting this stuff, because I don't need nobody to say I had something to do with nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So the moral of this story is stand up for yourself and you'll get respect in the end. Simple
Absolutely.
as that. I mean, that's just grown man stuff. Sometimes, look, here's the thing about real dudes like I growed up with. Sometimes my best friend in life, he got killed in a car wreck in 1997, but when he was a couple years older than me. He's probably 16, I was probably 13. Every time we seen each other on a Friday or Saturday night for 2 or 3 times over, we tried to fight each other. Over and over. Some reason this fight never happened. So then this guy starts coming to my school. So it's Friday night, it's football night. So I'm driving down the road headed to the school, me and another one of my buddies. And I see this dude, and I don't know what in the world made me do it, but I stopped and pulled over and said, hey, you want to ride? And me and this dude hated each other. We got in the car that night, and I ain't gonna lie, we smoked a few joints, rode around, drank a few beers, came back to the school, went to the football game, and was my best friend ever since then till the day he died, dude. Sometimes real dudes have to have an altercation to earn respect for each other.
Absolutely. And sometimes people think that you're a bad person or you're bad to do business with because you stand on your principles and your morals. I'm sorry, I don't kiss up to anybody. I don't.
Right.
And I don't bow. I don't fold. And if I gotta do that to be your friend, man, we just can't be friends.
Hey, and like I said earlier, the wrestling business does not like people it cannot control. That's just as simple as that. The wrestling business itself is all about control, and it does not like people that you can't control. I mean,
what that comment saying?
It says, I'm still thinking he's ducking the hero. Man, when you get completely well, we gotta book this match, man. I'm dying to see this match myself. Y'all done got me wanting to see this shit, man.
Look, I even talked to, and I hope he's still on here. Even him. I understand that he has a lot of people that's trying to stop him from doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? So me being who I am, I sent him a message, and he probably will tell you to encourage him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the devil can't stop you. He only can distract you. And if you allow him to distract you, he can delay you.
Right.
But if that's what God has for you to do, it's going to come to fruition. But it's only you who can stop you. And so I sent him that, and I told him if there was something I could help him with, I ain't got no problem helping him at all.
Man, it's one
because
of those
I see the grind. He has this grind about himself.
Right.
And everybody should respect the man that's out here trying to grind to accomplish his goal and his vision. And that's what I like about the kid.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Now that he's kind of been running his own thing for a while, I feel like he's starting to see.
He's maturing.
He's starting to see how this business kind of really works and really is about. Because you always have misconceptions about this business. Everybody does. Yeah. And once you kind of figure out, it's really a black and white situation on how this. He said he did, no doubt. He's one of the only.
See?
There it is.
Nobody knew that though. All the stuff that we say on Facebook, nobody knew that we had a conversation to where I'm like, dude, you're a talented individual. You can do this, but there's ways you have to do it.
I think you two just might have become best friends, man. Y'all like stepbrothers now, man. Johnny.
But that's what I do with a lot of people. A lot of people don't know it because I never expose it. Right. I talk to even guys from the other company that's not even supposed to talk to me. I even talk to them and give them encouragement because it don't benefit me any.
Right.
I want to see everybody succeed and win.
There it is, y'all. Johnny Dotson. Once again, we got the real dude here. He might be the Kang superstar, but he's also 100% real, legitimate dude. Stands on his morals, stands on his convictions. And, I mean, what you see is what you get, man. It's as simple as that. Just like you see the dude in front of me right now, he can flip that switch and be the Kang superstar.
I can flip it in a second.
He's got you loving him right now, and in 3 seconds you'll be hating him again, man.
But look, even with Mike Anthony, and I say this publicly, I think Mike Anthony is one of the best talents around me personally.
I do too, man.
When the powers to be of the NWA asked me, If I could send anyone to them to see, who would it be? I gave a list of names. And a lot of them, 99% of them don't even work my show.
And that's what
That's
it's
real.
about, man. We got to start helping each other. I mean, here's the thing. If you ain't in the ring fighting for a spot, then and you have the connections and the opportunity, you need to try to help guys, because here's the thing. Bluff City is still looking for that superstar out there, that guy who comes along and makes it all click, and it will come along. If you nurture the system and nurture the business, eventually you'll get that reward, man. It always comes. There's always somebody that didn't get looked at just right over here that has so much potential, and if they're given the right opportunity in the right situation, that potential can grow and grow and grow into a full-blown superstar.
Because when I even said that, even when I get ready to go do my match, when I go up to the NWA, I was gonna take some of these guys, get them to come with me, just so they can see how things work, and even see if I could wrestle one of them, so they can be seen as well. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
the kind of stuff that we have to try to do. Because I ain't trying to be on the road and travel like that. I ain't got to. I thank God I ain't bragging, but I ain't got to. I'm in a good position. My career is solid, but I want to be a blessing to help get some of the other guys there, though.
Right.
And they don't owe me nothing. Just make it.
That's all it takes, man. That's what I don't think a lot of people see, man. It's like these. All right, it's just say one of these promotions that run the same town every week. Well, sometimes their talent might get an opportunity to go and be on TV and go do something where this company, they always look at it like it's a bad thing for them, which it might be an inconvenience right at first. But here's the thing. If that's a homegrown team and homegrown talent, and they go over here and they do good and they start making a name for themselves, eventually they're going to come back home. Not to mention, you then have the ability to say, hey, this is the place where those guys cut their teeth. This is the place where they were before they were here, and now they're stars. I mean, instant gratification is a lot of times what pro wrestling's always about, instant gratification. Right. But the older you get, the more you realize sometimes it's about having the patience to wait for the big thing to come along. It's no different running an angle. I see people all the time start angles that could be good. They'll start them one week and want to blow them off the next. And I'm like, man, if you'd have took and gave this 3 months,
right,
these people you'd have packed this place, turned people away, and these people would have exploded, and it'd have been something they would remember their lifetime. But everybody wants it right then. They're not willing to wait no more.
Yeah.
Johnny, we got to get out of here, dude. We went 2
yes,
hours. We talked, and I told you about an hour and a half at the most. But when the conversation's good, man, it's hard to cut it short. Dude, always fun. It's always a pleasure anytime me and you get together. And I know we'll do this again somewhere 6-7 months down the line. I'm anxious to bring you back when we see some of this stuff come to fruition, dude, and then talk about it even more, man.
Well, dude, we definitely can, man. The River City Television Network can also do pay-per-views, live stream. We can do everything. So that big show we're talking about doing later on in the year, hopefully we can set that up to where we can get it going like that as well. And then too, I would like to see you come down to the arena. That's what we call the building, the arena. Come to the arena and shoot your show from there.
Dude, we'll definitely look into that, man. I'm anxious to see it, man. I've seen the photos you posted. I think it's cool. I think it's going to be a big plus for Bluff City Wrestling. I think it's going to give y'all stability. It's going to give you a foundation, a place to be, a place where you can let people know this is the home of Bluff City Wrestling. And I'm definitely going to have to come check it out, dude. Ain't no doubt about that, man.
Well, come on out, man. Come on out.
Johnny, brother, you take it easy, man, and you and your wife have a great night, my friend.
Yes, sir, my brother. Tell your wife I said hello, and we're definitely praying for her mom. All right, man.
Thank you. Y'all have
All
a
right,
good
see you later, my brother.
All right, guys, you seen it right there. The Kang superstar, Johnny Dotson, one of the realest dudes around, man. Like I said, me and him ain't always seen eye to eye. We've threatened to kill each other before, but here we are talking, man. We found common ground, and that's what it's all about. If me and Johnny Dotson can find common ground, anybody out there can find common ground with each other, man, because we were as far apart as you ever wanted to be. And now we can at least come together, have a civil conversation, and not throw hands. And it's just simple as that. All right, guys, look. Not tomorrow night, excuse me, Tuesday night, I got Professor Bear here. He's got his own podcast. He's part of the Wrestling Society Network. It's another streaming channel, but this one's devoted 100% to nothing but wrestling and wrestling content. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. You do not want to miss it. Wednesday night, Premier Pro. The guys are back. Eric J is going to be here. I'm sure Zach, T-Pain, no telling who will be here. We're going to be going over the big show that's coming up in Dyer, Tennessee this Friday night. I want to thank everybody who tuned in, everybody who commented, and everybody who supports our stuff. Guys, until Tuesday, y'all take it easy.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up